Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. So in this one, I'll fix a few bugs and try to improve a few things. For example, when we collect resources, we have a little problem here. And also we need to add a button here for the surrender when we want to quit the game in middle of a battle. So to handle those things, let me stop the server and the client. Well, first of all, let's fix an obvious problem here in the terminal script. In the data, let's scroll down here. And here in the battle ended packet, instead of this ID, we need to pass client ID. Because the client ID is the correct value and ID is actually just the request ID of that packet. The client ID is the one we're looking for. And now let's go to the client. Here on the scripts, let's open up the player. And as you can see here, we have a boolean called updating, which we are not using correctly. So to make it affect the game, here on the update method, inside this if statement, I'm gonna check to see if we are updating or not. And if updating is equals to false, then we are going to run this code. So I'm gonna cut that, paste it inside, and that should fix that. Now let's go to the UI battle script. Here in my scripts folder in the UI, I have UI battle, and I am going to add another button here and name it surrender button. Now let's get down in the start method and add a listener to this surrender button. Let's say surrender button dot onclick add listener, and there is already a surrender method inside this script. I'm just gonna assign that surrender. Let's take a look and find it. Here it is. It's just gonna set the surrender boolean to true. So let's get up there. Also, let's take a look at this no target. Well, we just wanna close the panel if there is no target. Maybe even show a message box to tell the player there is no opponent. Now let's take a look at the set status method. Well, here it is. And wherever the set status is false, we are going to call those, and let's add an else statement. So whenever set status is true, we're just gonna set the end panel the set active to false. Also, let's go and find the data script. Here it is. And I'm going to add another variable. Let me just duplicate this battle duration and let's name it battle prep duration. Okay, and let's say 30 seconds. Of course, we need to copy this and bring it for our server as well. And let's go and do that. Here it is, my server data, and that's it. So let's go back to the client in the UI battle. Let's find the start battle function. Here it is. And let's also find the display. I think this is the display method. And inside this display method, we are setting the value of this timer text to battle duration. Let me just copy this first. And instead of this battle duration, we are saying battle prep duration. So first we're gonna show a timer like 30 seconds, and the player has 30 seconds to scout the enemy village, and after that the battle automatically gets started. And here in the start battle, I'm just gonna paste that. Whenever the battle starts, then we are going to show the battle duration and count down from that. Also, when the battle starts, let me duplicate this, the surrender button. We want to set it to true. And let's also copy these three values, these three buttons, and let's go to this battle ended. Here I am just going to paste them here and set all of them to false. Let's also put them in another function. Let's see, here is end battle. Whenever we end the battle, we are going to set all the buttons to false to hide them all. And let's see where this end battle is being called. I'm going to find all the references. In 2 different locations it is being called. So in both of these locations, battle.end and is started is being assigned. Well, actually, let's just cut these 3 values. We could just assign them inside the end battle method. And let me remove that. Now we have 2 end battles. Let's go back to the end battle. And here I am just going to paste these values. The surrender is going to be equals to this surrender that is being passed. And that's it for the end battle. Now let's go to the update. Here it is, update function. And here in this if statement, when we are checking to see if the battle is started, we need to add an else statement. Let's go here and say else if ready to start, and we need a time span, so let me just copy that and bring it here, and we are checking to see if span dot total seconds is greater or equal than data dot battle prep duration, and we also add an else. In this case, we are just going to start the battle. And in this case, we are going to update the timer. Something like this that we have here. I am just gonna paste it. And this is going to be battle prep duration minus total seconds. And we're gonna put that in the text. Now let's go back to the display. Let me first collapse that. And let's see, where is display? Here it is. Well, first let me take a look. Here we need to add the surrender button as well. And we are saying when we are displaying a village, the first thing, the surrender button is false. And also we need to add another value, let's say base time equals to date time dot now. So I think we're done in the UI battle, and first let's go and assign the surrender button. Here in the battle we should create a button for our surrender, and actually let me just delete this close button because I don't like the look of it, and let's just go ahead and create a brand new button. Call it button close, and this button close, let's align it to this corner, and let's take a look. This is the close button. Let's name it end battle. So that's it. Also we could change the text size. And let's change the color to that. Also the text color to this. And let me just duplicate that and name this surrender button. And let's also change the text of this one to surrender. And they're on top of each other. So this one is covering that one. They're both in the same location. So I'm gonna select battle. Let's assign the close button to this close button, and surrender button to surrender button. Of course we need to hide this selected unit as well. We don't need to see it in the inspector. So let's see where it is. It's not up here, so let's find it. Just gonna collapse a bunch of these functions. And here it is, selected unit. I am just gonna say hide in inspector. And now let's go to the player and take a look at the receive packet. Here we are hitting the collect button. In the previous video we commented this line, so let's fix that. In this one we are going to switch. First let me just copy that. I'm gonna say switch. And I am going to switch between UI main instant grid buildings I.id. So I'm going to switch between the ID, and let me just remove these values. I only need the mines, so dark elixir mine, and gold mine are the ones I need. So that's 3 values, and this is the commented line. Just gonna paste it inside these guys. This is going to be gold storage. This is going to be elixir storage. This is going to be dark storage. And also let's take a look at the sync data. Here here it is. And as you can see, we have a bunch of variables here. It's gold, max gold, elixir, max elixir, and the same thing for the dark elixir. I'm just gonna copy them. Let's bring them up here. I'm gonna paste them there, and let's remove the cast from here and make this values public, and also add a hidden inspector. So let's copy that, paste it for all of them. And now let's go and find the building script. Here it is. And let's find adjust UI. I'm going to add another condition to the collect button. So I am going to add another condition to when we are allowed to show that collect button, and whenever the player dot instance dot gold is less than player instance dot max gold. If it is equal or greater, which means our storage is full and we don't need to show the collect button. So let me copy that, paste it for elixir and dark elixir. This is going to be elixir max elixir. This is going to be dark elixir and maximum dark elixir. So our client is ready. Let's go and take care of our server. So let me save the scene first. And let's go to the server project. Before we take care of the server, let's actually go to the battle on both client and the server. First of all, let's start with the server. And here in the building class, let's find it. That is the unit class, and this is the building class. We have take damage, and inside this take damage we are calculating a percentage, and inside this I have an int p equals to that, but we need to also multiply this by 100d. D stands for double. So let's save this and go to the client, do the same thing here. In the scripts, I'm going to open battle. Let's find the building class. Here is the building class. Inside take damage, this is it, p equals to that percentage multiplied by 100d. Now let's go back to the server project and let's go to the database. We have a few little problems here as well. Let's get down here and find player disconnected. Here it is, and the player disconnected. Whenever a player gets disconnected, we assume it's a surrender. So instead of this false, make this true. And up here inside this general update battle, let's take a look here. Whenever it is a surrender, I am going to check a condition to see if battle I dot battle dot surrender frame is less or equal than 0, and in that case I am going to change the surrender frame equals to frame count. So if the surrender frame is less or equal than 0, I am going to set it to frame count. And here let's get further down. Whenever we are setting battles remove at I am going to add another condition saying if trophies is greater than 0, which means we won the battle. And if we won the battle, we are going to spend the resources from, let's pass the connection first. So the defender ID, we're gonna remove the resources from the defender. So the gold is going to be looted gold. Elixir is going to be looted elixir. And this is gems, so let's put it to 0. And this is going to be looted dark. And at the same time, we are going to add resources. Let's pass the connection first. And this time we are going to give the resources to the attacker. So the first one is going to be looted gold, looted elixir, and looted dark elixir. And the last one is gems, to set it to 0. This is actually a little weird. I should have put the gems on this to the last, but doesn't matter. The important thing is it works. So we also need to add the trophies. So to do that, let's create a function. Let's just do it here. Just gonna copy one from here. And let's name it change trophies. So the first thing, it is going to take a MySQL connection. The second one is taking a long, which is the account ID. And the last one is the amount of the trophies we want to change. So let's clear this. So first, if amount is equals to 0, we are just going to return. And after that, we have only two things. Either amount is greater than 0 or amount is less than 0. So in this case, we are just going to run a SQL query. Let me just copy from there, paste it here. This is going to be a string query equals to this. It is going to be update accounts, set trophies equals to trophies plus some value, where ID equals to something, and let's just add the values. The first one is amount and the second one is account ID. So we're just gonna run that command. It is going to add the trophies. Let's copy that, paste it here. And in this case, amount is a negative number. So we're gonna say trophies minus something, and we're gonna pass minus amount. So if we add this to a negative number, it's gonna make it positive. So it is going to be a positive number, but it's gonna reduce that from trophies. But we have a problem here. Let's say you want to take 5 trophies from a player that has 2 trophies. Okay, so if you run this SQL statement, the result would be -3. The trophies of that player will become -3. We don't want that. We're gonna immediately after this execute another query. And we're gonna say update account set trophies equals to 0, where ID equals to that, and let's just remove the amount from the equation, and we are going to add another condition saying and trophies is less than 0. And let's remove the async. It is not an async one, and of course let's make it private. Now let's go and call this. Let's take a look here in the general update battle when we are checking the trophies, adding resources, spending resources, and here I am going to change trophies. First, let's pass the connection. Let's say attacker ID, and we're gonna pass the trophies. So if you win the battle, this number is going to be a positive. it is going to be added to attacker. If it is a negative number, it's going to be reduced from the attacker. Let's do the same thing for the defender. So the defender ID, we're going to say minus trophies will be passed for the defender. And now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but something is wrong in the add resources function. So let's go to definition of this. Here in the add resources, I need to make a few changes. First of all, we are missing the global ID here. So I'm going to add the global ID, select buildings ID, and let me paste that here. And we're also going to select the global ID. And let's see if we have somewhere, yes, this is where we are getting a global ID. This is check resources. Yep, we can use that. Let me paste this. And here, instead of this, I'm gonna say building.id equals to that, which is going to assigning the global ID. Also here, I think I made a small mistake. Well, here it is. Elixir space storages, it is going to be elixir capacity minus elixir storage. Well, that's all the problems I could find up until now. So let's go back to the client. Also, something here in the UI battle, there's a listener you can start listening on. So let's go to this events section. I'm just gonna create another empty function. Let me just use that one. And this is it. Let's say a star gained. So whenever a star has been gained, this method is going to be called. So to hook it to the battle, let's go and see where it is. I think it is in the display. Let's find it. Here it is, display. When we are initializing the battle, here in this line, we can pass a star gained. So that method that we just created. So from now on, whenever a star is gained in the middle of the battle, this method is going to be called. You can show an animation, start showing some particles or some sound or whatever. This is it, it's available for you. So that's also you can use. Let's go back, and I am just going to start the server and check out to see what we did. Now let's go to the game, play it. Well, here we go. I can collect some elixir now, and let's go to the battle, hit search. As you can see, the timer is counting down from 30. If this gets to 0, the battle gets started automatically. Here we have 493 gold to be looted, 243 elixirs and 0 dark elixirs. If I hit end battle, it's gonna come back to the main village. And let's go and search again and starting counting down. And the second I place a unit, battle gets started. And this is also a button you can use to go and find the next opponent. Of course, I need to add some gold to reduce from as a cost for searching. So let's place some barbarians attacking these cannons. As you can see, the button changed to surrender immediately. Let's place some units. And right now, as you can see, the timer is counting down from the battle duration. This much has been destroyed from the enemy village. This much has been looted, and the battle is going on. Okay, as you can see, everything goes smoothly. Of course, we can place goblins as well, but the battle is practically over. Yes, this is a building here, but all the resources should have been looted by now. For some reason it is not. Okay, it was, but it just got updated. So here it is, battle is over. The end panel has been popped up, 100%, 50 seconds, 57 seconds left, and all the resources has been looted. and click OK, come back to the main village. Now there's one thing I want to show you here in the debug.log. I've created a function to compare the results on the server and the client, and if you take a look here, the client ran 625 frames. The same thing on the server. The client calculated that the player won with 3 stars. The server calculated the same amount. The client calculated 13 units been deployed. The server calculated the same amount. The same thing for the amount of gold looted. The same thing for the elixir, dark elixir, and trophies. Client 30 and the server calculated 30. So now let's go to the database here in the accounts, and as you can see, 30 trophies won, and the client is currently online. Let me actually stop the client and let's go and refresh the accounts. Now the client is offline. So basically this is it so far. I'm still going to fix as many bugs as I can, but I think at this point we have accomplished basically everything, and right now it's just polishing and fixing bugs and improving. So basically the foundation of the game has been placed, and right now we have something very great. Hopefully in the next videos we're gonna keep improving this game, and at some point I'm gonna put this on a server actually and place it on a small market. I'm not gonna place it on Google Play, because if I do that, a lot of players will install the game and it might destroy the server, the load of the players. So I'm gonna start with a small and local market and try to test this with a small group of players to see how much of a server we need. I mean, how much resources and hardware we need to support, let's say, 1,000 players or even more. This is started very small, but now it's a really great project. And I'm sure you can make a lot of money out of this if you publish it on a market like Google Play, and you don't have to use the same names. For example, if a unit's name is Barbarian, you don't have to name it Barbarian, because in the database, nobody's seeing the database. So you don't have to change it inside the database. Nobody's seeing these values. But you can change it inside the game UI, and you can even change the buildings' names. So the names does not have to be exactly the same thing as the Clash of Clans game. You can change the buildings and units' names to whatever you want and create your customized version of this project. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.